Okay, here we are at Blackbird Field, where we're doing a engine job. We've got the cylinders off right now. That's what things look like. You can see how filthy and greasy everything is right now. Alright, that's the left side. When you look around here, you can see how greasy this thing is. There's my flashlight. It's pretty filthy. Hoses need work. Take a look at those hoses. The wires come out from the inside because they're single layer and the wire is just in there and they fall out all the time. We're going to replace them with a double sandwiched layer so you don't have that problem with that wire always coming out on you. They'll never give you any trouble. When we replace this hose, we're going to put that same kind of patch back on because that was a saver right there. That patch, because that really makes a difference in wear. Anyway, there's the top of the strut right there. Need to aim our camera right. There we go. There's the top of the strut and the engine mount. The bottom mount right there. We took all that, the whole pipe and everything out. Coming back around over to here. We'll take a look inside the engine where I took out the rags that I had stuffed in there. And you can't see a whole lot, but your important surfaces are like these. Let's see if I can find an angle here where I can get in here. Where are we? The cam is down below, right there. There it is. Okay, there's your cam. You can see brownish on one side. This is oil deposits, just a stain from the oil. Basically, when you reach in there and touch that, it is just mirror smooth. And the thing pushing up against it, the mushroom head looking thing, is, I can't hardly push it, it extends over to here. It's one of these things. I'm going to reach in and push it. Well, I'll pull it from here. I wonder if you can see anything down there. Nah. Gotta have that flashlight to see it. Anyway, that I pulled out, and then of course it's pulled back. That's your cam follower. This little pipe that goes in here has a head on it right down in there, down near the center of the picture now, and it pushes forward. Gotta have three hands here. Pushes forward. No way to do this. This pushes forward till it hits the cam. Now see, now it's against the cam. Pulling it back. Now it's not. Now you can see a gap in there on that cam. See how it's not against it? Right there. All cam surfaces are super shiny. The cam followers themselves, when you... Let's see if I can hold the flashlight at the same time. There's a cam follower. When you push this back and forth, wiggle it side to side, check it for wear, spin it, etc., it is just flawless. They're all the same. They're just like new. The connecting rods, push them forwards. Here we go. Connecting rods, push them forwards and backwards. They're nice and tight, even though they have been sitting for all this time and the oil's drained out of them and there's hardly any oil sandwiched in there anymore. They're still nice and tight. The bearings here, while they are clean on one side, on the compression side, and clean and kind of a little dirty on the other side, it's just a stain, and that's all it is. It's just from oil deposits, and it is, there's no wear visible at all on there, and when we have the piston all assembled and everything, it's just tight as a banjo, so it's nothing to do there. The connecting rod here, when we spin the prop, see the bolt, there's the bolt right there. When we turn that prop, that bolt is going to come out here where my hand is, and you just take it off and do the bearing. That's that main connecting rod bearing. It's all right there where you can reach it. They're all that way. These are the little, inside this cam follower is an independent little thing inside there that is the lifter, the hydraulic lifter that pumps up only about 3/16 of an inch or so. But that's what we've got to flatten and let all the oil out of it, empty it, measure it, check the valve train, get all that just right, and then pump it up. Anyway, you can see when you look at the gears are just beautiful. They're brand new. The only thing that you would see as far as little flaws on there is those drops of oil and the pieces of the rag and stuff like that, little tiny little dust particles. Looking back in here, it's the same thing. Everything is just, all the gears are in great shape. That's the crankshaft. Looking up in here, the color is just oil discoloration. Anyway, you can see if I could actually do this right, I could show you the inside of the oil pan. There's just there. You can see down inside that oil sump. That sump right there. You can see right down inside there. And all that looks clean too. Anyway, all this grease and oil on this thing, dirt and everything, we'll wash all that and clean up that at some point here, probably after assembly of the cylinders, because we can't afford for the crap to get down inside the engine. We'll do it after everything's put together. But we want to get all that crap off of there. And you've got like some things, there's some improvements on here, like we put these on the baffling here. They've got these fireproof padded pads that I glued on there so that they stop the wear of the rubbing on the cylinders. And there's your mag plate right there. It says 4301. That mag, those are the new mags. You get 2 of those. Your wiring harness was new when we put that on too, so that's low time. And carburetor was redone after the splash in, full carburetor kit, etc. It's got some ADs that were done on it also, which put new parts in again. And it's in good shape. There are no leaks. All the bushings are really nice and tight in it, etc. When that hose is replaced, that little padding patch is going to be put back, because that is a terrible wear place right there if you don't put that in there. Let's see, what else have we got going on? All those hoses get redone. Battery will get changed out. You got your new battery. And what else we got going? We got your little stumpy crown that will stick on the end of the skull cap on there. And I think that's supposed to be a pretty new vacuum pump on there. God knows whether it really works or not. They quit just really easy. But from turning the prop backwards. But anyway, that's what we have so far. Sometimes I'm trying to shine the flashlight and I forget to aim the camera. Stop. Okay, moving into the skunk works, we got your yoke taken apart, and there's your main cylinder and all the other stuff on there. I've checked these bushings here and they're like brand new. I think I replaced all that stuff. Everything's perfectly tight on your scissor. That's a scissor right here. And your shimmy dampener is in excellent shape. It's been rebuilt and all fixed up and everything, so you're in good shape right there. The trouble was that this seal right here, not the inside, but the outside seal right here, that's the main air and oil seal that holds back the pressure. There's multiple ones down inside here also, and a cleaner, scraper, wiper, and all that kind of stuff. This right here is just kind of your first dust scraper. Underneath there's a brass. Down in here is a brass one, and a couple of different things in there. Basically, there's a seal. They slide back and forth on here, and all that's this whole thing here. That's your wear area right there. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I got finger marks on it, all that kind of stuff, and everything. But trust me, it's like brand new. Nothing gets really used back here from this area. That is a spin bearing, allows the wheel to turn in a circle. So that bushing, it's nice and tight, no slop in it, no wear. I believe I must have replaced that a while back because it's like new. Anyway, everything looks good inside here. There's no moving parts down inside the hole. You got a little bit going on of moving parts down inside here. Here's where your trouble was, right along in here. If you take a look at, there's a tiny hole on this inside going that way where you put some kind of screw or pick or something, push in on it, and you reach into this side. What they've done is they got really rough with it through that hole here. Let me point it out. They got really rough down in here. It's hard to hold the camera and all this stuff. Down here's a hole. You come through from the outside, try to poke something through that hole from the outside to push the ring out of the way. Let me see where the ring is. I found it. That's the clip ring that has to be, it's usually installed inside this groove right inside here, right there. That diameter is exactly the same as this diameter. But now, because of all the terrible gouges all over it, if I could do this without, let me get the light here. Yeah, I think you can start to see the gouges on the outer part of it, where screwdrivers, right there, there's all that crap, right there, that should be the hole. Bunch of gouges and shit. That is where the seal, that rubber O-ring, is inserted under pressure really hard here. And this should be a clean, beautiful, clean, polished funnel surface, beveled, so that you can actually get all that to go in there. You notice there's a bevel. Hang on, put up the light here. There's a bevel here that's okay and not too bad a shape. The problem is this is the same diameter here, and you need a bevel on there too, but it used to be nice and rounded, but it's torn up right now. You rub your finger on there, you will slice your finger. Anyway, and that is the same, that outer part, that it hits first, that hits the seal first, should be beautiful and clean. You notice it's the same diameter as the inside there. So it's already under compression when it hits these spots right there, which means it better be clean out here, right there. It better be clean out here, or you're going to tear it up before you ever get it down inside here. There, this O-ring here, which goes in here, right there, that once it's put together, that whole metal unit here fits in here, in this upper section right there, with the O-ring in this groove down there, seated down here. And although this area where that seats in here should have a polish on it, could use some polish, because it's just kind of an old surface, nothing really wrong with it, a polish won't fix. So you'll have a nice clean seat there. The problem is that when you look at this O-ring, this is a brand new O-ring. It was just put in there. And let's see if we can get this thing to focus on my finger. Yeah, there, look at there. See that O-ring? That is a, gotta get it to focus. I thought I had it on macro. There, you can see that. And then when you turn it, there's another one. And you turn it some more. There's another one. to see if I can show you better here. There, you can kind of see it. Stop a minute. There you are. Now you can start to see the damage to the O-ring. Turn it this way. There's another one. There were a lot of these. That's a brand new O-ring. And that is the surface that has to seal, that outer edge. And look, it's all sliced up. I think there's 4 places here. There's no way you can get it back in there without doing the same thing, so that makes perfect sense. When you turn it this way, you can see the piece of rubber that's sticking up right there. That's a sliced O-ring, and there's other ones around also, but you get the point. Anyway, if you take a look at the condition, the appearance, the general appearance of this thing, it's in great shape, but it looks like shit. So the plan is make it look nice. I'll show you a little part that I custom built on this thing. You're going to appreciate this. This is the main connector to the shimmy dampener. Normally, what's normally there is this metal to there, that L bracket, and that's all there is, and it stops right there. That's what it originally stopped. I welded on this rounded corner downhill and added a piece of metal here. There. All of this rounded part and this tab going this way. The idea is that it grabs a hold of this tab, this metal piece here. It's like a giant vise. There's one below on the bottom and one on the top, and it is so tight that you've got to tap it and pressure it on there. It's a press fit on there. Then when you bolt all that together, this angle tab here, right there, can't move around anymore. When that shimmy dampener is pushed back and forth, it's making this, normally on any other plane, it's making this thing turn back and forth and rock around and flop around. And it doesn't take long for the whole damn system, for this whole pinhole here to wallow out, and this pinhole here to wallow out, and the whole damn thing just, you know, it starts shimmying terribly, and it's a constant pain in the ass. It's a bad design. Once I put this on there, I have never had another problem since, and it's like factory. It's better than factory because you never have to worry about it again. You're just not going to have shimmy dampener problems. All you'll ever have to do is just make sure that that bolt doesn't wear out or whatever, that pin in there doesn't get loose or something. You put your little shims in there, make sure it's all tight. And boy, there is just no, I'm afraid to shake this thing, there's just no movement on this. It's all just right. So you won't have any more shimmy problems. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this clip out of here, disassemble this whole mechanism, all of that, pull that off, and then I can inspect even more stuff. And I want to square this thing up because I noticed this slot should be exactly square to this scissor here. And it looks like it's about 2 degrees off. So that's why I'm taking that apart, just to make sure that I would have thought that would be one solid. Maybe it's on splines and then 2 splines are maybe misaligned or something. But anyway, I want to make sure that's all square. You've got good joints, all these ball joints and everything. Those little parts are replaced and new. And the stuff they connect to, all that stuff's new too. So you should be in good shape there too. But it's not going to look like you got anything because it looks like hell right now. But we'll fix that. This brass bushing and everything you see in here, all this wear stuff, looks great. This groove, which is your main oil seal here, going in there and up in there, you can tell that there's not really rust, but a lot of crap in there. It's just dirty, basically, and a little bit of rust residue, I would call it. It'll just wipe right off or scrape right off with the brass tool in the lathe. We'll get that polished real nice and clean because that's where your air pressure, you're going to have 100 pounds of pressure sitting there trying to go past that, and your air is going to want to leak down. But not if you got a nice clean machine deal there, and your ring is in perfect shape, and the interior stuff, all that stuff inside here works. we also found when we took it apart that this seal here, this is a dirt seal, but still it was in all the way except for like that, kind of like this, not in it for about an inch, and that doesn't help any, but it didn't make it leak, but it's not good for wiping and keeping the dirt out of it. Anyway, all the rest of this is in great shape. You've got a really good part here. Nothing needs to be worked on or returned or whatever, turned in for machining or build up and all that. It's just a lot of good material to work with there. So anyway, we will get to work. I'm going to hit pause here and make you a video. By the way, here's Norm's mags. They are the 42 series instead of 43. They are obsolete, but I can still get a few parts like the points. That's what I got to work on now, is those points right there. I got them all fixed up, cleaned up. Instead of buying a new cap, I just cleaned it up, got all the crap off of it. It was pretty filthy, and this finger was really bad right here. This electrode on the rotor cap, it goes in there. Gear is good, so we can still salvage it. It'll be fine for a while. These guys are good. The coils are good. So anyway, that's kind of what you'll see when we pop yours open. They look pretty well the same as mine do. They just have more modern parts. Stop.